There are a few things that has happened since I recorded that last video. One of them being I forgot to make the thumbnail for it and just decided to leave it there after I forgot it because it was the day after. Second one, rather recent as of the day that I am filming this. Right before I was actually filming, I didn't realize that I did not turn the camera from photo to video and ended up taking a photo when I wanted to start recording. So we're already off to a great start. Hi, I am your local internet friend, aka Toki. I currently have a TV remote in my hand because I need something to mess around with. And I also have coffee and a list for August's update. This video will also be like in celebration of not only my 6th year doing YouTube content, but also my birthday. Apparently the first video that I have posted as Bubbly Toki was August 6th. And then my birthday is essentially like 5 days afterwards. So as of the last month or so, as of this month specifically, the month of August, what have I been working on? Mainly story writing. Oh, right. I say mainly story writing. I almost forgot about that. I specifically set my goal for this month to be more of a spiritual sense and do research on gems and comparing it to their Steven Universe equivalents to give myself something to like anchor the metaphysical meaning of said gems / crystals. And one of the greatest things I've actually found out is that in a technical sense, a blue diamond is just a blue sapphire. There's another thing that I was just thinking about. There is this entire trend on TikTok specifically, as someone that has dabbled in witch talk, where a bunch of people were getting pieces of moldavite, not really knowing what it actually does, just knowing that it's supposed to help with like bringing in abundant success. And apparently on today's class of Please Understand Your Crystals, the way that moldavite itself is supposed to be bringing about sustained abundant success is literally through transformation, which means a lot of the old patterns and whatnot, the things that you as a person are holding on to, whether that be like physically you can't let go of, mentally, emotionally, you're having to like, it's supposed to help rid you of all of that first so you can start with a clean slate and start building up your foundation to be a bit more solidified. And the people that bought into the idea that moldavite itself was supposed to bring in such wonderful abundance and success and whatnot, having to deal with so many things crumbling right in front of their eyes and them not being able to do anything, and then complaining about how they're not getting exactly what they thought they signed up for. Through transformative process, your life entirely is essentially getting vibe checked by very special sea glass. That was something else I ended up learning through essentially my studies on crystals and gems. And I find that to have also been very hilarious, if not irritating, once I found that information out. But something else that has happened, I would say, since my last video is Mercury going retrograde in Leo and everything that that brought to my attention. Which kind of makes sense if I'm about to be doing a retrospect of my time doing YouTube content. Talk a bit more about this Mercury retrograde. It was supposed to be in the sign of Leo. And Leo is the sign that is more known for being playful, for being magnetic when it comes to other people's attention, and for being essentially confident and strong, like spiritually strong. How else do I express that? Leo is a fixed sign, is a fixed fire sign. So they are known for being determined and like strong-willed. There we go. The thing that was brought to my attention when it came to this Mercury retrograde is exactly how being confident affected a lot of things in my life. And exactly what I was confident in, how that affected a lot of things in my life. When I originally started doing YouTube content as Bubbly Toki, my main focus was supposed to be releasing the music that I was trying to write. However, there were a lot of things that kept me from being able to write that music so I can essentially release it. Side note, the funnier thing is the fact that there are a lot of YouTubers that specifically start doing YouTube content and then just randomly, in the midst of getting more accolades under their belt, decide to go and do like, see if they could start a music career based off of their YouTube fans. There's that entire like conversation itself was probably another reason as to why it was very difficult for me to actually do music. But like when I expressed the fact that I wanted to pursue music, and I found YouTube to be like the easiest and honestly most direct way of me doing that without having to like get other people to want to assist me in that. That one's, the human psyche is very interesting. However, because of the way that I went about it, and very specifically the type of heavy quotation support system and general energy that I was surrounded by when it came to doing it, it slowly became warped by my strong desire to be seen. Because of the fact that I wanted my YouTube channel to be monetized, and knowing that monetization would only be given to me if I have a certain amount of views and subscribers, I wanted to work on that first, which was not a good idea. And I started focusing and honestly stressing about that, and not having enough drive and willpower to be putting into actually learning how to produce music by myself. I might end up having to make this like its own separate video, but like the whole process of learning how to do something requires that you do not have any type of expectation but learning the ins and outs of doing something. So like if you're going to be learning how to do something, like learning how to speak another language or learning how to play an instrument, you have to start off with the idea of not focusing on the result, but very specifically focusing on being better than you were before. When it comes to learning a language or learning an instrument, that itself is mainly muscle memory and memory retention. So getting comfortable with like strumming certain chords or holding certain chords on the fretboard, or being able to translate what you would naturally say into the language that you want to learn. And muscle memory itself takes time. Time that I did not think that I had, because I was having to deal with a lot of pressure from the expectation of this has to go well in this certain amount of time. The version of me when I started this YouTube channel, like about 6-7 years ago, that version of me that started this entire adventure wasn't fake, but was a more masked version of me. Like the saying, put your best foot forward, that's what I believed was my best foot, and I wanted to, for lack of a better term, show off the better parts of myself. Not necessarily a fake version of me, but a masked version of me that was also stressed out underneath the mask. Like, even back then, me using the name Bubbly Toki was kind of putting out this idea that you would only get positivity from this channel. And while I don't really like using my government or official name when it comes to social media in general, because I'ma be honest, no thank you. It was very weird to like go through several different names for this channel, because I wanted to use one that seemed to fit very well with what I wanted to do with this channel. And throughout that entire time, when it came to at least the confidence that I had confidence in myself, but I think I also overestimated the amount of work I was able to do alone. From a more spiritual or metaphysical aspect of it, to move such a mountain would require so much force that one soul alone wouldn't be able to do. It would need to build up over time. It would need to be greater than the mass of the mountain, and it would need to be collectively with the intention of moving that mountain or breaking through that blockage or obstacle. And if it's just me, again, it was going to take a lot more time than I originally anticipated. Especially seeing as though I started off one way and did not realize the amount of work I would actually have to put in, constantly having to like not completely reinvent what I was doing, but like pivoting on what I was focusing on throughout that entire time, till I got to a point where I'm comfortable in what I'm doing and it's not something that I feel like I have to change, to where it's no longer stressing me out. But on a more realistic, physical standpoint, the type of quote-unquote success that I was specifically looking for when it came to doing YouTube content required me to push aside a lot of my own personal values. and also required for me to put so much time, effort, and focus into just doing YouTube content, which I did not have the capability of doing that because there were other things that I had to handle. Like, throughout this entire endeavor, I found out that I was at best neurodivergent. I could have also just been like gifted and in burnout, like the gifted child, but in burnout. But I used the term neurodivergent to help me with like the concept of longevity. And the only reason as to why me doing so much when it came to YouTube is the fact that I put in so much. I felt like I was putting in so much work and getting no type of results to show for it. Now, as I said earlier, with the success that I wanted to get out of doing YouTube content, there is a lot of my personal values that I would have had to essentially like push aside. And the main one is doing or talking about any type of topic I was not interested in, just for views. Earlier on, when I originally started this YouTube channel, I did an entire video exposing lies of a particular organization. And I was so angry to the point where I felt like that video needed to have been done, because I kept on getting interrupted while I'm watching videos that have nothing to do with the topics that they were talking about. I mean, at least if I was watching like a commentator or videos on what apparently is classified as political topics, like, I would be able to understand if that was the case, but it was not. And to recognize that I went from like not being happy to see about seeing no results to like not even caring if I see results. Going back to what I originally wanted this channel to be, which was just like everything that wasn't music related, it definitely makes me feel like a lot better about everything else in between back then when I started versus now. And one of the things that I can honestly say helped me get to that point was my Luna's Vision, The Greatest Illusion project, which was basically me not only being honest on camera about a lot of the stuff that I was having to like process that made doing YouTube content that much more difficult for me, but like being honest to myself about a lot of the issues that I was having to deal with, and me giving myself that validation to feel comfortable talking about this stuff. Because if I just acted like it didn't affect me or it didn't exist, I probably would have given up a long time ago. So while I do have plans on what I do have like general plans on what I'm doing next, I don't want to say anything, at least yet, because at the end of the day, they are just ideas and not like actual set plans. All that to say, the confidence that I was able to build up over this entire experience is not really something that I can say I regret. I do, however, regret being so hard on myself back then. because like I thought I was the issue. Overall, there are some lessons that I have learned. Some of them hurt a bit more than others. But if there's one thing that I will take from this entire experience, it is to at least try. Manage your expectations first, but try nonetheless. And that is what I will leave this video off on, because I've been using my brain for too long now. So please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified of whenever I post, and take care of yourself. There's a lot of mess that's going on, not just in the US, but like the world in general. I don't usually talk about like global stuff or like even national issues. It's very weird to me to do so. It's very weird of me to do so because I'm more focusing on like my own business, but one of the things I wanted this channel to be is essentially, if not entertaining, at the very least inspiring. So I have to live with some sort of like cheesy line. Okay, that is it for me, your local internet friend, aka Toki, and this is Toki saying Toki out.